So, does anyone care to touch on this further?
My name is Jerry. I left MAGA, and I've got some piping hot tea to spill all over the place. Let's just jump right into it. I want to remind you of this little clip before I read you this article about the Republican governor of my state of Missouri. But yeah, I want to remind you of this.
I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles and lots.
There we go. Right close to the end. Well, I'm going to call BS on all that. All right. Governor Kehoe, the governor of Missouri, is a Republican. I've had a lot of issues with this guy, but this one is the most recent. This story dropped 2 days ago. It just hit my lap today. It stated February 17th, 2026. Today is February 19th, 2026. Let's just do this. Governor Kehoe proposes $1 million reduction for Missouri domestic violence shelter services. As a trained advocate against domestic violence and as a survivor of domestic violence, I am outraged by this, and I'm trying to keep it cool. All right, but let's just roll right through this. Funding to help Missouri domestic violence victims could be at risk in the next state budget. Governor Mike Kehoe's fiscal year 2027 state budget proposal requests $1 million reduction in funding to help Missouri's domestic violence shelter services program. During a state House Budget Committee hearing Tuesday, Jessica Woolbright with St. Martha's, a St. Louis nonprofit serving survivors, explained to committee members what the funding reduction would do. So this is the gal that's working here in my city. Quote, our ability to respond in moments of crisis is weakened and our survivors are put at even further risk, she told them. Woolbright said due to a lack of funding in 2024, Missouri had more than 36,800 unmet requests for adults and their accompanying children seeking shelter. She said the governor's request would impact the work of staff helping victims. Now, our previous governor was also a Republican. Kehoe was our previous VP or vice governor. Um, Quote, our shelter is already running lean. Most nonprofits are right now, said Woolbright. Just 10 full-time staff cover all direct services for a facility that operates 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And to put that in perspective, on average, a single advocate answers 318 calls, hotline calls, and provides direct services to 128 clients each year, end quote. That's, man, that's a ridiculous workload. That's insane. Jessica Hill, with the Missouri Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, said the statewide impact of the governor's proposal would amount to 7,385 hotline calls unanswered, 25,842 fewer bed nights provided, 1,980 people not sheltered, and 5,160 people not receiving prevention education. She said the funding cut would result in considerable workforce reductions. Quote, workforce or reducing providers, uh, yeah, reducing providers' workforces would result in further reductions in services and possible agency closures, most significantly with rural service providers, end quote, said Hill. And I need to interject here because there's an area here in Missouri that I'm wanting to go out and help. It's a community effort. It's not a shelter, and they have some issues with some domestic violence, and they're wanting to work through some of the psychology behind it. And I mean, with small town rural hospitals closing, and now this, and according to Project 2025, this whole movement is working towards banning no fault divorce, which even further entraps a victim. Anyway, back to the article. Some of the services that she said would be significantly impacted would include outreach, court advocacy, transportation, housing, medical appointments, employment, identification services, counseling, and client pickups. Quote, we are already operating at the bare minimum staffing level, said Hill. Continuing, losing any additional staff would have immediate and serious consequences for our ability to communicate internally, respond to victims in crisis, and provide consistent, effective support to the individuals and families we serve. End quote. The domino effect would be longer wait lists, fewer shelter beds, and survivors being turned away when she said they are the most at risk, most at risk. Both Hill and Woolbright said government aid has remained at similar levels over the years, while operational costs have significantly climbed. The committee continues to calculate the numbers of Kehoe's proposed $54.5 billion state operating budget for fiscal year 2027. Kehoe and lawmakers have warned that the state's budget picture is expected to be tight beyond the next fiscal year. So there's that Republican insanity. What you going to do about it, Trump? You said you're going to protect women. I'm guessing that was also a lie. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, please um, give it a thumbs up, like, drop a blue heart in the comments, share it. If you haven't yet, please give me a subscribe. I would appreciate that. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other because there's going to be community that's going to get us through this. Get the rest you need and clock in on those fluids. Man, I need to go take a break.